All right, Cardano has been doing really well against the dollar. It's up, over 100% this month alone in just November. Naturally, when something like this occurs, people are going to start moving profit that they made from ADA into the Cardano ecosystem. As ecosystem tokens do very, very well, like Cardano, Solana, Ethereum, Bitcoin, people naturally flow further and further into the ecosystem, and money flows further and further into the ecosystem. As these coins do well, as Cardano does well, more people in the retail space are going to enter Cardano. And a lot of times they're going to skip ADA itself and try and go straight into the ecosystem and learn about new DeFi projects, new DEXs, new NFTs, all this stuff. And so in this video, I want to talk to you about Cardano altcoins that can 100x against the dollar or 10x against ADA. And we're actively going to look at 4 that I'm specifically looking at, but we're going to compare them against a bunch of others and show you how I'm analyzing these charts and how I am going through the process of finding Cardano altcoins that can 100x. Also, before we get too far into the video, down in the description is the Crypto 100x Blueprint. If you want to know further about how I do fundamentals, how I do tokenomics, how I do charts, how I find products to 100x and invest in for the 100x, download it down below, absolutely free, and you'll get 7 emails following the download so you can follow along and kind of learn how I'm trying to 100x my portfolio and do the same for yourself. This is a very specific video for finding Cardano altcoins that can 100x. Not everything's going to apply to every situation. And in fact, I get a lot of questions like, why don't I invest into WMT and SNEC? And we're going to go over that in these videos, okay? So if you're new to Cardano or you've been in Cardano for a while and you're looking for some altcoins to invest in, Cardano native tokens to invest in, hopefully this video is going to tell you all about that. So the natural progression of an ADA investor, a Cardano investor, is you probably went on Coinbase, Binance, Kraken, and you bought ADA. You made some money on it. At least if you bought it a couple months ago, you made some money on it. And now you're looking for the ecosystem. So we're going to kind of take you through the process. So if you bought Cardano on Coinbase or Kraken or Binance, and you want to learn about the ecosystem, this is the first website that we're showing here that you're going to want to go to. This is Tap Tools. You can go on Twitter and search Tap Tools, or you can go follow me on Twitter, and I am following the official Tap Tools, so you can find it through my follow list. But Tap Tools is the charting platform specific to Cardano. If you ever want to learn about the Cardano ecosystem and learn about what native tokens are available, all you have to do is come in here to Tap Tools, and you have every single token available to you on Cardano here. You can also search it or filter by market cap or volume or price, all this great stuff. You can also toggle to NFTs here, and you can see all of the NFTs in the Cardano ecosystem. So this is a very, very important website for any Cardano investor who's looking at Cardano native tokens, Cardano altcoins, trying to make more money than just holding ADA, okay? So Tap Tools, this is the website. Now, before we actually jump into the 4 altcoins that I'm specifically looking at and investing in, I want to set some ground rules and some understanding about why I invest this way. Keep in mind, I've also been investing this way in Cardano for at least 6 months by now. So all the stuff I'm saying, I've been doing it for the past 6 months. And as we go further and further into the cycle, it will change or it will get a little harder to do. I'm obviously a believer that you want to do these things as early as you can before everyone else jumps in. But if you're jumping in now, you still have time. So don't worry. Okay, the first thing that I typically think I want to do is, because this video is specific for the 100x, we need a couple rules. The first rule for me is I want to invest in Cardano altcoins that are less than $50 million market cap. Now, we can do that here by filtering for market cap, and then this is also an ADA valuation. You can come in here and toggle this up at the top to a USD valuation. So if we were going to follow my rule of having Cardano altcoins that are less than $50 million market cap, we would be able to invest in anything at LenFi and below. You see MinSwap here is 62 million, IAG is 116 million, WMT is 281 million. These, in my opinion, if you're just investing starting now, they're a little bit too big to kind of give you the room to 100x, okay? And so when we talk about 100x, that would be 100xing against the dollar. When we talk about 10xing, that would be 10xing against ADA, which is the same thing as 100xing against the dollar, because I think ADA 10x's against the dollar, okay? But just for reference, for the 100x, I think you need a project that is below $50 million market cap. Because when we think about it in just pure theoretical number terms, is if something is $50 million market cap and it does at 100x, that means it's 500 million $5 billion market cap. Now, in my opinion, Cardano can get, probably around a $300 to $400 billion market cap in the 2025, peak of the bull market. That's kind of like the top of where I'm looking at. And if that were to happen, I think some of the best altcoins on Cardano, some of the best Cardano native tokens can take up anywhere from 1, 2, 3, maybe even 4% of the total Cardano market cap. So just for reference, if Cardano had a market cap of 100 billion, that means one of these projects could be worth 1 billion or 2 billion, right? And so if we expect Cardano to kind of get to a $300 to $400 billion market cap, then some of these Cardano native tokens that do the best can get up to, a $3 billion market cap at kind of my realistic top. Now, some are going to go to probably like 10 or 15 billion and really shock the market. But to make a realistic expectation of what we can look for, I just kind of think, if we invest in something below 50 million and it does a 100x, and can kind of get to that, 5 billion at the fully top. And if it doesn't even get all the way there, it can still get to around a billion and be worth, a 75x or something like that. So the first rule for me is when I'm investing in Cardano native tokens, I want something under $50 million market cap. The second thing that I look for is I want it to be dominant in its niche. I want the Cardano native token that I'm investing in to have a lot of reasons to exist and to kind of control the niche that they're in. For example, I think Indy, and this is true, it's not I think, it is true, Indy is the most dominant synthetics protocol on Cardano, right? Hunt, in my opinion, is the best way to trade on Cardano. So it's the best DEX aggregator. MinSwap is the best DEX on Cardano because it has the most liquidity, right? And so there's a lot of these that are the best, right? SNEC is the best meme coin on Cardano. It has the biggest market cap, and that's really the only thing that defines the meme coin, right? And so when I'm buying Cardano native tokens, I'm looking at the best. I'm looking for the ones that have control of the market and are going to realistically continue to control that market over the long term. Lastly, the final thing I look at is I want to diversify slightly in the Cardano ecosystem. I'm in Cardano for risk. I'm in Cardano native tokens under 50 million for even more risk, but I don't want to just be like crazy with it. So I am going to show you a few tokens because I believe, in my opinion, I want one DEX-based product, I want one lending-based product, and I want one DPIN-based product, which is decentralized physical infrastructure. I actually have 2 DPIN products in my portfolio, but I'm going to talk about why that is. The 2 DPIN that I have is IAG and NVL. Okay, my DEX product is Hunt, and then my lending protocol is LandFi. I'm going to show you why. You can obviously pick other ones if you believe that you want to invest in other ones, which there's plenty of reason to do so. But those are the 4 I'm invested in. Hopefully that gives you a kind of a base scenario of what we're looking at and why we're looking at it, in order to make this whole thing make a little bit more sense. The first Cardano altcoin that I think can 100x in my opinion is Hunt. Now Hunt is this token, is the token of the DEX Hunter protocol. And I'm going to give you these 4 things that I think these 4 projects that I think can 100x against Cardano. But I have obviously done the fundamental research on the product and what use case they bring, and the tokenomics research and what I think that they provide tokenomics wise to holders. And so I've done a lot of research before just jumping into the charts. If you're just watching this video, I highly suggest you to go back and do that research. Again, in the description is the Crypto 100x blueprint. That is how I do my research. It's the things I look at, and you'll get 7 emails, 1 a week, talking about that research. So don't just take the chart that I'm showing you as the reason to invest into it. Obviously, I think that these projects are going to do well, but I've done like all 2024, I've done research on these products. So please keep that in mind as we look at this. But the first project that I think can 100x for Cardano altcoins is Hunt. Now, Hunt is the token for the DEX Hunter platform. And the key fundamental reason why I like Hunt so much is that it is the only way that I make trades. The only way I trade is with the DEX Hunter platform. And I think that has a lot of value, especially because the tokenomics, you can see right here, circulating supply, total supply, number of holders. To me, this is really good information. There's not new tokens coming out. The tokens are being put to a good use. And Hunt, in my opinion, has a couple great things going for it, okay? First thing is that it has found its bottom, right? This range right here at around 20 or 0.2 ADA, all these charts are going to be native token against ADA. You can see right here, native token against ADA. This is finding a bottom against ADA, okay? So the first thing I look at when looking at a chart like this, and the reason I think Hunt is doing so well, is first, the price action. The price action, the pattern, and the timing. What I see is that Hunt has a typical bottoming area so far that we can honestly respect in this 0.2 ADA region. It's kind of followed Cardano up and back down again, and now coming back up. And when I look at other DEX-based charts, Hunt looks the healthiest to me. It looks like it has the most possibility to go upwards. And like I said, I know I want to hold one DEX product. So to me, this is the one that has the most ability to have confidence, that I have the most ability to have confidence in, for a couple of reasons. The first is that the pattern of what's going on price-wise to me shows a good consolidation in an accumulation area, which is typically what we want before we head back upwards again. Second, Hunt is not making consistently new lows. This has been November 24, April 24. This has been 6 months of sideways action. And the Hunt has never gone below kind of this 0.2 or 0.1 or 0.18, 0.19, 0.28 a level. Okay. I have no expectation, no reason for it to keep going down. Another reason is that this Fibonacci that we got going here from this very low to this very high that happened in early 2024, Hunt is holding right within this 786 Fibonacci level. And I think really what it's waiting on is right here. We can see it's waiting for its time to come out, okay? So usually I look at price first, I look at price action, I look at timing, then I move on to some support and resistance things. To show you how I would do support and resistance is I want to go out to the furthest time frame that I can possibly see, or kind of like a time frame that makes sense to me. This monthly chart might be a little too small, but when we come back here to the weekly chart, let's see. When we come back here to this weekly chart, I drew these support lines based on this high, rolling through these highs, and then this low, and kind of holding onto these lows. I drew these lines like 6 months ago, and then when I happened to overlay the Fibonacci, it laid really well. So we have converging support and resistance with the Fibonacci levels. So this, to me, makes it kind of seem like this is a very good spot to have like support and resistance levels for the Hunt token. After that, I typically move into moving averages. I like the 20, the 50, the 100, and the 200 simple moving average. And you can see here, Hunt is getting above this 20-week simple moving average. This has been a great week for Hunt, in my opinion, because, you know, nobody likes it on these weeks when we kind of retrace and bounce off a moving average. And so I think this has been a great week for Hunt. I think next week, the week of Thanksgiving, we'll see Hunt control above this 20-week simple moving average. And I think that will give it a great catalyst to have a lot of upwards potential, a lot of upwards momentum. Then I think, you know, the next kind of area is this area where we chopped around here about 0.42 ADA. But this chart to me looks really bullish. Furthermore, we have the RSI and the MACD kind of pushing us upwards in that direction as well. You can see this RSI is definitely breaking up higher than it was over here in this last peak. So showing momentum is turning upwards, and it's getting above that RSI moving average. The last thing that we want to see is this MACD. It is curling upwards, but you do want it to get across this zero line, which is right here, right here, right? And so you want these lines, these MACD moving average lines to get above to kind of really push it upwards more. So this is, in my opinion, one of the best structurally sound charts for a DEX-based product on Cardano. Let me show you some other ones. I know that in my comments, typically people say Hunt token utility is not the best. Okay, that's okay. But to me, token utility is just one of many assets that we're putting together to make a case for investment. And so I'm okay with token utility not being like the absolute best. But this right here is what many would consider the best DEX on Cardano. And it is. MinSwap is the best DEX on Cardano. It has the most liquidity, the most trading pairs, or the most volume, all that stuff. This is the chart for Min. And so if this is the best DEX on Cardano, do you think that this is a better chart to invest in than the Hunt chart? I'm trying to find the best chart here to look at. Looks like the best time frame might be the weekly time frame here. But do you think that this is the best chart to invest in compared to the Hunt chart I just showed you? Right? This chart. In my opinion, I would say no. And the reason I would say no is that MinSwap and the Min token, because it's been putting out so much liquidity, let me show you the information here. Yeah, it's been putting out a lot of liquidity. It's got 30,000 holders, which is great. but the circulating supply is still about half of the total supply, not even half. And that's because they're consistently releasing liquidity out to their stakers and liquidity providers. But this chart is consistently downwards, right? And so the reason that people win in MinSwap is that they take Min tokens and they provide it to the LP or provide it for staking rewards, and then they get more Min. So this decrease in price doesn't really affect them so much as a part of their total portfolio. But when we look at charts like this to me does not show the confidence that the Hunt chart shows, right? MinSwap is below moving averages. It's been going down for 2 years, and it has no signs of returning. It's not a bad product. MinSwap is a great product, and Dex Hunter could not survive without it. But as just a pure investment standpoint, that is the MinSwap token, and I just don't think that that would be a better investment than the Hunt investment. Furthermore, SundaySwap is another really big decentralized exchange on Cardano, and this is the chart for it, going back to January of 2022. Do you think that this is a better investment than the Hunt chart? In my opinion, I would say no. And so these are the things I'm looking at, and that's why I think Hunt, if you're going to pick a DEX-based product, Hunt could be the best potential for investment, given just the current tokenomics and the current market scenario. Let me take this off log. When you look at this compared to this, what do you think is a better investment? All right, so that's our first one, Hunt, the token of Dex Hunter. This is something I think is a really, really interesting investment. And I've been investing since since like right here, kind of while it's been down here, I've been investing into it. And so I think this week has been a very good week. I think next week will continue to be a good week for it. So the first one is going to be Hunt. The second one, and the first one's going to be Hunt because I think that this chart, compared to all the other DEX charts, has a lot of potential going for it. The second one we're going to look at is LenFi. I think LenFi is actually a really good chart as well. And people bash me on LenFi as well, or they did all this year. I've been investing in LenFi since around 1.5 ADA, which is kind of like right here, I think, somewhere in here. Or not 1.5 ADA. Maybe I bought my first LenFi somewhere around here. I don't know, but I've been doubling down as it's been below kind of this 3 ADA level and down in here to the 1.5 ADA level. But I think LenFi is really interesting for a couple of reasons. Let's see what the logarithmic chart looks like. Yeah, I like it better like this. So the first reason why I like LenFi is first, the price and the patterns and the timing. When I started investing in LenFi, a couple things really stuck out to me is that LenFi had this bottoming range that it seems to have held this cycle, and then it is holding currently right now. So it has this pattern that's shown provable of where the bottom is against ADA. And so that to me was kind of like, okay, we can expect it to kind of go here and still be okay. The second big thing that showed really well to me is this upwards pattern here in 2023. And so if you're not familiar with Cardano or you're just coming back after the bear market, in 2023, Cardano had SNEC, and a bunch of other good things happen for it. And we kind of had this DeFi summer of 2023 where Cardano native tokens actually did really, really well against ADA in 2023 in the middle of a bear market. And so when I was investing in 2024 and building this kind of 100x blueprint strategy out, I was noticing that, hey, some of these tokens did really well in 2023 when it's just like kind of this bear market. And to me, that made sense as like, if they're doing well in 2023, I fully expect them to do well in 2024 or 2025. And so when I saw these tokens coming down in 2024, I thought of it as, this is a really good opportunity to buy these tokens and prepare for 2025 in order to be in a very healthy investment position. And so that's why I initially started getting into some of these tokens. The price and the patterns and what had happened historically seemed really interesting and good to me. This is just LenFi. If we look at some other lending protocols, this didn't happen as much. So one of the competitors of LenFi is going to be LQ. In the summer of 2023, this is what LQ did, right? And so it's still a really good return because the number, we go to the logarithmic chart. Yeah, it doesn't really help us. But if we come back in here, kind of like right here, the return in that summer of 2023 was about, 200% against ADA. 200%. LenFi did 1,600%. And so I was looking at some of these, comparing, trying to find a lending protocol that I wanted to invest in, and LendFi just really stood out to me as something that had really good tokenomics, like as far as distributing more tokens or using tokens this way, and then really good fundamentals of being a decentralized lending protocol. And then when I came to the chart and I was looking at charts finally, this structure of what LendFi was putting together just looked really, really good to me. And so I liked how price was historically holding this level and how it did really well in 2023. To add on top of that, I drew my support and resistance lines based on the previous highs and where we can expect it to be today. You can see that's where it is today. And then I added my same 20-week, 50-week simple moving average. And, we can see LendFi overtaking the 20-week moving average, moving into the 50, having some resistance in this level. And, it could drop back down and come back up, and I'd be totally okay with that. But I was watching these moving averages play out, like flattening and showing that we could start to make a change here. After all this, then I moved into my oscillators. I moved into the RSI and the MACD. And when I started investing into it down here, I noticed that the RSI was bottomed, kind of chopping. The MACD was curling over back here, right around this area in June 2024. And, it had been going pink for quite a while, and it just seemed like a good time. It seemed like LendFi had been hit particularly hard with like kind of depreciating price, and it didn't make sense to me. And so I thought of this as a very good opportunity to buy. And you can see today LendFi is coming up from the ashes, breaking all these resistances, breaking the moving averages, and the RSI is showing that price is moving upwards, and the MACD is finally getting close to that zero line to cross over. So what really stood out to LendFi for me is when I started investing into this product, it was probably around 20 ADA, or it was really around $7 to $8, $9 million market cap. And so to me, it had a great market cap for the risk reward, great price action, great use case, great fundamentals, all these things. And when I compared it to other lending protocols, it seemed to make a lot of sense. Let me go back to Hunt real quick. I don't think I touched on this in my Hunt section, but Hunt was the same thing. It is currently a 22 million ADA market cap. ADA is about $1. So that means today it's around a $20 million market cap. But when I started investing into Hunt, it was like a 7 or an 8 or a $10 million market cap. And so the risk rewards upwards to me was very, very opportunistic. If Hunt was like $10 million for the market cap, the total market cap, and it did a 100x, that would only put it at $1 billion. And so if Cardano goes to 300 to 400 billion, Hunt, realistically, being like the only way that I trade tokens, seems to have the ability to get to that $1 billion market cap mark. You can see not a lot of tokens coming out. Same thing with LendFi. LendFi circulating supply. There is a gap here, but I'm in the Discord. I know that circulating supply is not being released. The majority of these tokens are in the treasury or being used in other ways. And so I like the amount of holders LendFi has. I like that price is in this structure. And when I compared it against other lending protocols on Cardano, LendFi just seemed like a better investment for me. If I take it back here to LQ, this is Liquid, a prime competitor of LendFi, and you can see it's gotten much better on its circulating supply, a little bit less holders, but the market cap is a lot higher than LendFi's market cap. And so in my opinion, back when I was investing, you are taking more risk by being an LQ, because if you want to get the 100x, you have less chance to get there. And the reason for that is LQ's market cap is inherently higher than LendFi, and the price, the chart structure, really was not indicative of a turnaround in bullish momentum to me. And so when I was weighing my options, I really just thought LendFi, and I still do think LendFi is just an overall better pick for the average retail investor because of the positioning. If you're trying to 100x, because of the positioning of the market cap, the use case LendFi has, and then the current price structure compared to LQ. Now, I give it to LQ holders. LQ has been doing great recently over the last couple of weeks and is breaking above its moving averages. MACD is crossing, RSI is crossing, and I think LQ will gain significant ADA market share. It's just, it is a bigger project, so in theory, it would have less room to run, okay? There's some other lending protocols on here. I call Indy a synthetic protocol because it technically is. Some people toss it into the lending talk because it kind of in that range. But even if you look at Indy is kind of mirroring LQ, where price structure is really starting to turn around, but a lot of supply to come out. The price structure has not held as well as something like LendFi has over the past bear market over the last 3 or 4 years. And so looking at this again, I was holding Indy at around this area, and I decided to swap out of it, and I decided to swap it into LendFi or other positions, and I'm pretty happy with that decision. So this is LendFi. This is my second pick that I think people should look at if they want a good lending protocol to invest in on Cardano. Now, after our DEX product, after our lending product, the next thing that I knew I wanted was a DPIN product, decentralized physical infrastructure. And I wanted something that was like more reputable in Cardano, that had more reason to succeed. And so I initially started by investing into IAG. And I probably first started looking at IAG right around here in this early 2024 area. And I noticed that it was kind of like creeping down below these moving averages. At the time, I thought maybe it was going to bounce and keep going. But as it continued to break downwards, I started making a bigger investment decision in this area, in this 2024 region. And the reason why I think IAG stuck out to me is, one, at the time I invested at around this area to this area, kind of in this region, it was like $50 million market cap or less. I think it was like 46 million. It was at like the upper end. And I felt, in my opinion, that having a little bit bigger project when I had LendFi, when I had Hunt, having a little bit bigger project in IAG that was a little bit more reputable, a little bit more like has like 17,000 holders and a larger market cap was good for my portfolio diversification. So IAG was kind of like a no-brainer to me. A lot of people in Cardano like IAG. And what I really noticed is, as IAG was doing well in this peak, in this peak, in this peak, people on Twitter were like really shilling it. They were like, IAG is the thing, IAG is the meta, IAG is this best project on Cardano. And then over the kind of the back half of 2024, as it came down in the summer, people really stopped talking about it. And to me, that was like a big sign of like, people are undervaluing this project again. I constantly on Twitter see people shill a project, talk about a project, hype it up, and then as price kind of fades away, they forget all about it. And to me, that is a sign I need to be paying attention to it. And so that's what I did with IAG. As people stopped talking about it when price went down, I started really looking at it in this area, around this 0.24 area, and started doubling down my investments. And the reason for my investment in IAG is because it was a little bit bigger. It had a lot of users. It has a great fundamental use case and great tokenomics. They are slowly releasing circulating supply to node providers, but I figured I'm only going to be in this project for a year, so the dilution of the token is not going to affect me so much. They seem to be diluting tokens so slowly that it's not affecting price, which is always a good thing to me. And so I kind of saw what price had done. Again, first I looked at price history and the patterns, and I saw what happened at these moving averages, taking IAG to new levels. I saw it coming back into these moving averages again. It did break below, but then I moved and used my Fibonacci to kind of say, here was a low back then, here's the high today, where can it go? The typical spot is the 618. And so I was just kind of targeting price structure to be like, okay, it kind of bounced down here last time. Can it kind of come down here? And what I did is I just staggered my investments. I think I put an investment here at around 0.3, an investment around 0.2, an investment down here at 0.17, 0.18. I doubled down on it. And so I don't know where bottoms and tops are, but as I saw price structure coming down, I saw RSI bottoming, and I saw the MACD started curling back. To me, IAG looked like a good investment. And so based on all these criteria, that's why I picked IAG as my DPIN investment. But I didn't just stop there on DPIN. When I was looking at this product to invest in, some other small DPIN products were kind of showing up. They were kind of like getting started. And two of those would be, well, one of them would be NVL. NVL is a product that kind of aggregates DPIN products like IAG, WMT, Copy, and like all these Oracle nodes. And so as a part of my DPIN investment, I decided to also take a position in NVL. The reason for this is that IAG is the bigger DPIN product. it is now way larger than $50 million. It's kind of like $100 million market cap. And so it's not really wise of me trying to 100x my portfolio to invest more into IAG. I still had some money I wanted to invest, and so naturally I rolled the DPIN investments into NVL, a smaller, it's only 21 million ADA market cap today, a smaller DPIN product that has good tokenomics, good fundamentals, and is right in that same line as IAG. So I split my DPIN product investment as IAG got too big and as NVL was starting and coming up and showing itself. Now I want to take you back to IAG here real quick. Another reason why IAG was my DPIN investment compared to other products like World Mobile Token, for example, was its size back when I was investing. I liked how IAG's price structure was continuously kind of moving upwards in these phases, holding strong, seemed to have a good community. And when I went to look at other DPIN projects, I mean, you have some in here. One of them is going to be World Mobile Token. Ajax is kind of like in that lane. I don't really know how AI fits into blockchain, so I scratched that one off. The next one that kind of fits in this lane is like NTX. Again, I'm not really super familiar with it, so I scratched it off. You kind of have some in here. NVL is one of them. But the two big DPIN products, now we have new ones like Dedi, C3. An Oracle investment doesn't make sense for my position, so I crossed C3 off. But the two big DPIN products everyone talks about is WMT and IAG. So which one was I going to make an investment in? Well, based on the things I've kind of talked about, of course, the World Mobile Token just switched from WMT to WMTX, so now the chart's all messed up. But the base case is that when I was investing in IAG, I did look at WMT, and WMT was too large for me to invest in to make sense for me to 100x my portfolio. Furthermore, I personally think that something like decentralized storage can be used today, whereas telecommunications will take a little bit more time to get to the masses. And I know people in the WMT community and people in all communities are going to comment or come at that statement and say 10,000 people are using WMT or millions of people are using the World Mobile Network today, which is true. It's true. I know it's true. But just me as a normal retail investor, the price structure of the IAG chart and the market cap fits more with my current thesis of just trying to 100x my portfolio than the WMT chart and the WMT market cap does. So that's why I invested in IAG over WMT. Let me finish out this video real quick with the NVL chart. NVL was a good investment for me because price was only going up. I was waiting for the longest time to invest into it because I don't like investing into new projects. And so what I noticed with price is that it is consistently going up. Obviously, that has been broken over the last couple of weeks. But as I was investing into it, NVL fit the bill for a couple of reasons. One, circulating supply is almost fully out. A decent amount of holders for a new project, around 2,500. Market cap is right in the spot where I want it to be, in the low millions, so it can easily 100x. And then as I was investing into it back in here, price was only going up. And so that's a good sign to me, holding these moving averages, holding the line, seeming to be a good product. And then obviously today, as price is going down, I've been doubling down my investment here. And I think, if it goes down to about 1.15 ADA at the maximum, I will double down again. I do have some ADA on the sidelines ready to buy this dip. But to me, NVL is based on the product it provides, I think that this is a very good one to invest in. I think we're waiting for the RSI to kind of bottom out here and kind of move to the side and accumulate in this bottoming zone. But these are the things I'm watching for NVL to be another good DPIN play. You might be wondering, why NVL? Why not Titan and why not Dedi? Well, let me show you. So NVL is a newer DPIN product, and in my opinion, from what I recollect being in the Cardano ecosystem, NVL was the first DPIN aggregator on Cardano. I love the first mover. I love NVL being the ones to kind of have this idea. I love that they are kind of making this their core focus, right? So the New Vola team doesn't have NFTs. They don't have all this stuff. They just have the NVL token, and then they kind of have like the staking rewards that go with it that stakers get. And so to me, this is a very simple one product, one design, one lane, and I like that with Nuvola. I like the team. I watched a lot about them. I've made a couple of videos on NVL, but the competitors are a little bit different. With Dedi does not have a product out yet. This is a kind of in line with IAG and NVL, Dedi is a GPU storage or a rental GPU solution. So if people want to use GPUs on the blockchain, they can rent them from Dedi. And I do like the idea Dedi has. I think it has ability to do very well, but I haven't made an investment in it because of a couple of reasons. One, compared to NVL, it just doesn't have a working product yet, right? People cannot, like, you can't just go on the website and invest, in my opinion, use a GPU. I think you have to kind of reach out to the team. So it's a newer product. It's not fully fledged out yet. Lower amount of holders, has a ton of circulating supply to total supply to get through, and then price has kind of been coming down. I've been trying to find a reason to invest in price. I was really looking at it right here, and then it broke down. And so I think, Dedi will probably come down here to around 0.08, and then we'll probably make this massive run up, and I'll kind of miss out. But I'm okay with missing out because I'm just not 100% sure on the product and stuff at this point. If you're kind of late to Cardano and you're looking for good investments, maybe check this one out. It's a very small market cap, but the thing about it is you really want to analyze the team and analyze what's going on. I don't know. I went to the Discord and kind of tried to figure out what Dedi's got going on with it. In the tokenomics, it says that they have 100 million circulating supply at the beginning. They only chose to put 60 out and kind of reallocated 40. And then, they just kind of got some stuff in there. I don't know. There's a little bit of FUD in there about Stellar Capital and all this stuff. So I'm just not 100% sure what's going on. With NVL, I know exactly what's going on. With Dedi, I'm not sure. I haven't done a multitude of research to be confident in it. And so that's why I've kind of just stuck away from it. If I'm ever confused or ever not sure, I take it as my own fault, and then I just kind of stay away from the investment for a little bit. So I'm okay with that for now. The other one that people typically look at when they're looking at these deep in projects that are newer is Titan. Okay, Titan is a direct competitor to NVL, and it is another DEX aggregator. And this Titan is actually in line with the hot NFTs. Let me show you here. Let me see if I can find it real quick. And so on Twitter, if you're familiar with me on Twitter, I have one of these NFTs, House of Titans. These House of Titan and NFTs, House of Titans, House of Titan. What is my House of Titans here? 1130 is mine. 1130. So if you're familiar with me on Twitter, this is my NFT, right? I own this. I rock it on Twitter. I have this in my wallet. It's pretty sick. Probably the coolest House of Titans out there. But this is the House of Titans. They release an NFT project. They have NFTs that are these guys, the profile picture ones. They also have strongholds, these NFTs. And now they've also come out and released Titan, the token. And so I love the project. I love what they're doing. They're doing the same thing as NVL, but I already have one of the NFTs, and I don't like the confusion between NFTs and the token and like this conglomerate of all these things. I think it can be good, but when there's another option like NVL that's just the token and just the team, I decided to go with that one. That was a little bit ahead of Titan, and NVL was definitely the first mover and was kind of out there first. You can even see it here on the chart. Titan came out on September 30th, 2024. NVL came out on April 18th, 2024. So April, January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September. So about 5 or 6 months. NVL is about 5 or 6 months ahead of Titan. So in my opinion, NVL was just a better investment because of that, and now we're getting a beautiful discount, and I'm not scared of this price downwards. This is a great buying price for me. I'll probably buy a little bit here soon, and maybe if it goes down to this 618 Fibonacci, I'll definitely buy some more. These are the 4 tokens that I think can 100x. Let me clear this up here. The 4 tokens that I think are really good for 100xing in Cardano is NVL, IAG, Lenfi, and Hunt. And as they become bigger and bigger projects, I think they will have less of a chance of 100xing, and you'll have to find new projects or just accept that you're not going to 100x, which is okay. It's totally fine. The one thing I want, if you're watching this video, the one thing I want to drill into your mind is the way I set up my charts and the way I look at them. If you look at all these charts, this one, this one, this one, right, this one, I do charts the exact same way every single time. And this is because I think retail investors need to get further out on the chart and expand their time frame to have more success. Okay, what do I mean by this? I think first you want to look at the price and the history and the kind of the trend. And we can do this. We can do this on a fresh chart. Like we can go find one of these I haven't looked at yet. Or we can just look at one that I do have and I'll just clean it up. But for example, let's take Hunt here. If I came on here and I had a fresh chart, this is what it would look like, right? This is exactly what it would look like. And these RSI and MACD would be gone. But what I do step by step is this. First, I want to look at the price and the history and the trend line, okay? And figure out what has been going on. Are there any patterns we can see? Are there any, is this following ADA in any way, right? What do we see? Is price going down? Is price going upwards? Is price slowly accumulating? What do you see? Second, then I want to zoom out. This is a pretty good time frame, but you want to zoom out to the furthest or the second furthest chart that you can find, furthest out time frame to give you the most clear picture. And let me show you this. The 1 month chart is probably the furthest you can go out on Hunt. This isn't super clear because we don't have enough information. So I'm going to go in one more up into the weekly, from the month to the weekly, and now we have a pretty good simple piece of information. If I were to take this chart and go now into the 1 day chart, you can see how the information gets a lot more, maybe it gets clearer for you, but there's a lot more information to digest. If we go down here and go into the 4 hour chart, look at how much more information we have to digest here. It's impossible to digest all this information, right? And so what I like to do is find the second largest or the largest time frame I can find, which for me, this is the weekly chart, and that's where I draw my support and resistance. For the Hunt chart, you could say support is here, right? Or you could say it's you could say it's here, or you could say it's here. But realistically, it's in this band somewhere, right? It's in this band. So nobody knows the exact support. But you can say it's in that band. Then for the resistance, for the support, you could say, well, maybe it's here, right? Maybe it's here. Right? And you can kind of build a support band. So you have a resistance band and a support band if you don't want to draw just one line and get it wrong, right? And so that's the next thing I do is kind of draw these bands of support where you can kind of look at what's going on. Then you can come in here and grab this guy and do a fib retracement and go from the bottom to the top, bring it all the way over, and now you have a rough Fibonacci retracement that's showing you where things could be. Right? Look at this. This resistance is lining up with this candle. This Fibonacci is lining up with this candle, and then we have this top resistance, right? And so now you have another structure of where some key lines can be. The next thing I usually do is toss on the moving averages we talked about, and then I toss on the RSI and toss on the MACD. So I do this with every chart. This is how I analyze all my charts. If you've been watching my Cardano price predictions, it's the same thing. I do the same thing on all the charts, and so far it's been working pretty well as long as you have a long enough time frame to kind of analyze some things on. But this is how I view charts, and this is what I do as an average retail investor, and I think you could do the same thing. The last thing I want to show you in this video, Cardano Altcoins with 100x potential, is if you are watching this video and now you say, okay, I want to buy some of these tokens, what are my options to buy these tokens? What I recommend is that you go to dexhunter.io. Dexhunter.io. Again, if you're on Twitter, find me on Twitter. You'll find the Dex Hunter and the people I'm following, and then you can go to this website directly through the Twitter profile. But what you want to do is open the app, and then this is Dex Hunter. This is where I buy all my tokens on Cardano. You can go do another one is MinSwap. You can just type in MinSwap in Google. Let's see. MinSwap. Maybe type MinSwap Cardano, if I can spell it right. And this looks like MinSwap. Let's see. You got to really kind of tell the most legit one. It's hard to tell sometimes. I don't know. It's not loading. Maybe we can go to Twitter. Okay, so this is Twitter. you can go over to the search bar and go MinSwap. And then this is MinSwap, the official one, and you can go to their website right here. And then now we are here and you can go up here to trade. So this is how you would trade if you want to trade directly on MinSwap. I don't want to do that. I want to come over here and I want to trade on DEX Hunter because it gives me the ability to trade on all DEXs at one time. What you want to do then is go to the swap function up here at the top. And then I like to switch on Pro. Right now you can see the chart over here. And what I can do is I can come over here. You see I got a little bit of ADA. Well, my head's covering it, I'm sure. But I got a little bit of ADA here I can invest. You can see my balance here as well. And I don't want to invest the max. No, thank you. But what I can do is I can go to ADA and I can come down here and I can choose what I want to buy. If I want to buy some more NVL, I can say I want to buy 1,000 ADA worth of NVL and it'll give me this much NVL. So that's kind of how you can swap on Cardano. You do the swap, you sign the transaction, and now the tokens show up in your account. Here's all the orders I've been making. For example, you know, I've been like, these are the things I've been buying: Hunt, NVL. I played with Dedi for a little bit. I played with iETH and this token for a little bit. But the majority of what I'm buying is Lenify, NVL, Lenify, NVL, NVL, NVL. And this is just one wallet I have of 2 or 3 wallets. And so this is Cardano. These are the 4 altcoins that I think can 100x. People always ask me about some other tokens here like SNEC. The thing about SNEC, I love SNEC. It's broken its all-time high. It's just a little bit too big, right? Market cap $308 million. I mean, what is that, like 150 million today? Something like that? Or maybe that's 300 million today, right? Because ADA is worth about $1. So that's just, in my opinion, a lower chance to 100x. And so that's why I don't invest into it. What are some other things people ask me about? People ask me about Kopi. I don't really believe in gaming. I don't believe in gaming on Cardano, so that's why I would stay away from gaming projects. This is the Kopi chart, and yeah, I mean, this chart just doesn't instill a ton of confidence in me as an investor. Like, I don't, you know, it's just, I don't see a lot going on instantly off the bat. I don't see consistent upward trajectory, and you know, maybe I'm just a little bit bearish on it, but that's personally what I see in my opinion. I just don't have a lot of reasons because I don't believe in gaming, and then the chart is like just not really the best in my opinion. Let's see, people talk about stuff a lot to me. They comment on my things, look at stuff, but no, I don't want to look at stuff. I don't know what stuff does, and the chart is not very indicative to me, and so it just doesn't seem like a great spot to put my ADA. People ask me about BTN. I made a video on BTN recently. The problem with BTN is it doesn't have a product yet. It's not live on mainnet, so I can't invest into it. And so it's just kind of like slowly coming downwards, I think, because it doesn't have a product on mainnet. So it's losing investor confidence. And so I just can't invest into that yet. Let's see. People do ask me about fluid tokens. The thing about fluid tokens is it's like lending specifically for NFTs, and they do have a lot of good things going on with Bitcoin, I think, but in my opinion, if I'm going to invest in one lending protocol, it's not going to be this one. And so the chart's kind of regardless, because I already know that going into the project, that if I'm going to invest in one lending protocol, it's going to be either Lenify or Liquid. Those are the 2 I would look at. And then so fluid token just kind of is like third on the rung for me, and so I'm just not going to invest into it. Then the chart's just kind of going downwards, and so it's just, I don't know, it's just not the best for me. And so the 4 I'm looking at are IAG, Lenify, Hunt, and NVL. Those are the ones that I am personally invested in that I think can 100x this cycle. And, you know, that's why I invest in Cardano altcoins and what Cardano altcoins I invest in for what reasons. I definitely think Cardano altcoins are going to start growing against ADA much faster than a lot of people think. I know right now ADA is growing, so Cardano native tokens are kind of coming down a little bit against ADA, but they are still in a good position in my opinion, and I do not want to get left behind by not being invested, you know, because I was waiting out. So that's why I'm invested now before everyone else and trying to make the most of my ADA today. That's how I look at ADA charts. These are the altcoins, the Cardano native tokens that I think can 100x. I'd be curious to know which ones you think you can 100x as well, and if you agree with my opinions on some of these things, leave a comment down below. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you haven't gotten the Crypto 100x blueprint and you want the information, it's in the description. Other than that, I hope you enjoyed the video, and we'll see you in the next one.